Hello everyone and welcome to the Snack Bar. It is a big week and it was the Avengers, finally, after 10 years. But before that, let's talk about the movies that we've seen the past 2 weeks, I guess. So I saw A Quiet Place, really good film.
She's Gerry.
First time
I'm Jedd.
Sorry?
She's Gerry and I'm Jedd.
Right. I always forget that. Okay, but anyway, I saw because I really want to talk about A Quiet Place. It's so good. It's really, really good. And I'm so happy for John Krasinski because I love him. And I love Emily Blunt. And she's been in a lot of not very good films lately. So it's nice to see her in a good film. First time I ever screamed in the theater. So that was fun.
Yeah, this is such a brilliant movie. And it's really interesting because based on the earlier movies that John Krasinski has directed, you wouldn't think he'd go in this direction. Like, typically when actors... especially like younger actors or actors from comedic backgrounds start directing movies, it's comedy dramas or more indie stuff. So that's what he did with, Interviews with Hideous Men. I forgot the full title of that movie, and The Hollers. But he completely takes a left turn with A Quiet Place, which is this brilliant genre piece. And it demonstrates such a deep understanding of both how horror thrillers work, the mechanics of that, as well as getting the audience invested in characters, creating compelling relationships and building stakes and sort of pulling the audience in and trapping them alongside people whom you do want to spend time with, whom you do want to see make it out alive. So that balance is really, really masterful, and it feels like it's from someone who's been making this specific type of movie for a very long time. So that's doubly impressive.
John Krasinski does give him a lot of like hero shots. I feel like, it's a little bit of a vanity project, but I do like it at the end of the day. And the sound design, the way everything is set up and paid off, they are really, really good. And yeah, I really recommend this film, but I think everyone wouldn't have the chance to anymore because of the Avengers. So if you can, watch it. Because this is such an audience experience,
Yeah,
this is one of the best audience experiences I ever had.
You want everyone to freak out. And everyone freaks out, yeah.
You can hear people squirming as well. And of course, the villain of the show, I don't want to say what it is, but let's say it's Stuck on the Ground. The villain of the show is the scariest thing in the world.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great.
Every single time a character is near that, you freak out because you don't know what's going to happen. And yeah, this family just has the worst luck, I feel. Well, I guess not, because the daughter is deaf. So they kind of knew sign language before the whole thing went down.
Yeah, so that I think is really interesting, the whole idea of a movie entirely in American Sign Language. And I also really love that John Krasinski pushed very hard to get a real deaf actress, Millicent Simmons, cast in the role of the daughter. He really, really wanted that, and that was something which I think the studios took a chance on. And I've not seen all the movies from this studio, but I think this is the best Platinum Dunes movie we've ever gotten. Because Platinum Dunes was started by Michael Bay, Andrew Form, and Brad Fuller. So it was kind of like Blumhouse before Blumhouse was a thing. And they specialized in remakes of old horror movies. So they did like the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, that sort of thing. And for a while it was all like, and like Rob Zombie's Halloween. So it was very, very commercial horror stuff. So I think now they are trying to take on Blumhouse directly, because this feels like a Blumhouse thing. Like a good Blumhouse thing, not a bad Blumhouse thing. There's lots of bad Blumhouse stuff as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
like for example, the recent, which one is it?
Truth or Dare, yeah, which I got a trailer for
terrible.
in front of A Quiet Place. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you saw it. I didn't see it. Yeah, and the other thing is, like, I was thinking about Emily Blunt and John Krasinski being in the same movie together, and how that is such a recipe for vanity projectness. Like, you are directing a movie starring you and your wife, but I really didn't get a lot of that from this. I felt like it was such a different feeling from watching By the Sea, which was Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, and that was an insufferable movie. It was so self-absorbed and really, really obnoxious.
Pretentious.
Yeah, very pretentious. Like, it was pretending to be a European art house film, but it's clearly like these two people on vacation.
I've never seen the film, so I can't really say much about it.
Yeah,
It looks really boring,
It
though.
is
That's
very
all I know.
boring. No, it's so pretentious. It's both of them, they're like unhappily married and they're lounging around, and because they're on some sort of like second honeymoon, and then next to them, in the suite next to them, is this young couple who's just married and is having lots and lots of sex. So they're very jealous of the young couple, and they end up like spying on the young couple through a hole in the... Yeah. No, it's not great. Yeah. So this felt very different from that. And I loved seeing Emily Blunt holding a shotgun because that reminds me of Looper. And anything that reminds me of Looper is good. The grain silo sequence was awesome. That's one of the best like tension scenes I've seen in a long time. The kids in the grain silo.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, so good.
It's scary, though.
It was
Okay,
very scary. Yep.
It's a good film. All right, so what films have you seen this week that you want to talk about?
I've not seen a lot very recently, but Love, Simon's coming out soon, and I saw that quite a while ago now. So, yeah.
Oh, you're so lucky.
I
don't think... There's no way they will let out some Avengers time slot for this film, though.
We'll have to
it's not
see.
the
Yeah,
Avengers.
but what is quite interesting is when I was on the GV site, the banners all around the GV site were for Love, Simon, and I didn't expect that to be
Thank
the
God.
case. Yeah, so like at the site,
Yeah.
it was all Love, Simon banners, and I think that actually, ironically enough, the R21 rating, it might work for the movie in that you got a very vocal backlash against that. And I mean, come on, it's ridiculous for this movie to get an R21 rating. It is so absurd.
Especially when Deadpool has an M18.
Yeah, it's like it's so emblematic of our society's gay panic, where anything gay is automatically, you got to sprinkle it with holy water and like like get away from me. And what is very interesting about this movie is that honestly, it's not a remarkable film, but that is what makes it remarkable. So let me explain.
Yeah.
A lot of coming-of-age gay movies, typically very art house, not super accessible. Things like Mysterious Skin by Greg Araki, Call Me By Your Name, Moonlight. So those are not things you would see in a multiplex. Those are things you would see in an art house movie. This is very much a thing you would see in the multiplex. This is very, very, very commercial.
It's a typical teen comedy, but the guy is gay.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think there are some problems in that. I don't know how, it's a bit weird that the whole plot of this movie is a gay whodunit. It's like, guess who is gay? And I'm not amazingly comfortable with that, but I think they pull it off with enough confidence, enough humor, and I think that the main group of friends are very believable as friends. Like, you got Nick Robinson, you got Catherine Langford from 13 Reasons Why, you got Alexandra Shipp, who was young Storm in X-Men Days of Future Past, Jorge London Bock Jr. So those kids work really well as a group. It's directed by Greg Berlanti, who, if I'm not wrong, he did like Dawson's Creek, and then he also did Arrow and the DC TV shows. I don't know whether Riverdale is him. I think Riverdale is him, yeah. So this is a guy with experience in this sort of teen soap opera genre, which this very much is a teen soap opera comedy.
So, did you like the film?
Yeah, I liked it.
You did, right?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I think that, it's a bit... Sorry, go ahead.
I really, really want to watch this film because I'm so deprived of my romance comedies. So I need this.
Yeah, I think this will...
I mean, even Disney doesn't do romance anymore, and it hurts me so much. I think, the previous one was Moana and then Zootopia. So Zootopia, people argue that there's something going on between the two main characters, but I don't know. And then before that, I think it was Frozen or something. Oh no, it was Big Hero 6, so there was nothing there. Frozen, it wasn't really a romance. I think the last one they did was Tangled. So I used to be against Elsa being gay,
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, I don't care.
You're
Just give me some
You're
romance, Disney.
indifferent. Yeah, no, it's
Well, not that. I don't care. I don't think that romance should be the main focus.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now I think Disney has gone past that. I want them to come back.
Well, yeah, there is some romance in this Disney film called Avengers: Infinity War that we'll talk about. Yeah, it's the thing about Love, Simon is that it kind of feels sometimes like something you'd watch on TV, but I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it has that aesthetic of that high school TV series look that all high school movies look like in America. And it obviously is trying to homage like John Hughes a little bit. So I think it is semi-successful in that. There are some points when it gets a little bit too convoluted, where it's sort of like, some who's betraying who and who is keeping secrets from who, and it gets a little bit soapy, and it takes place in this kind of heightened world, which a lot of romantic comedies do, where you wouldn't be able to, where half the stuff is not really believable, but you care about the characters such that you go along with it. So I think it's successful in doing that.
Okay, so you want to talk about anything else, or you want to go on to Avengers?
I'll quickly talk about
The experience?
Sorry?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the Avengers experience. You went there, right, with Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, we'll do that. We'll talk about that. Yeah. First, we'll talk a little bit about Rampage, I guess. The highest rated video game movie on Rotten Tomatoes.
Terrible.
Tomb Raider's reign was very short-lived.
To be fair, I haven't seen the film yet, but it sounds exactly like what I thought it would be, and it sounds like something I would hate.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about this movie is that the Rampage video game doesn't really have a plot, so they can do whatever they want with it. But I think one of the issues with this is it's very interesting. You look at the kind of movies that Brad Payton makes. This is the guy who did Journey to the Mysterious Island and San Andreas with Dwayne Johnson, but he's not very good at it. Like, you can tell where he's going for, but he's not very good at it. And this movie is very much sort of plug and play monster movie shenanigans, and I thought it was going to be really fun, but it is kind of towing the line between extremely predictable kind of production line stuff, and there are moments when it's really crazy. There are moments when it's so good it's bad, but for most of it, it's so generic. Like, the character motivations, the exposition, the backstories, and the way we get to the set pieces is very generic, because movies like this is set pieces, and then in between there's whatever plot you can lay out to link the set pieces together. So it's one of those.
Does The Rock have a family in this?
No, he doesn't have a family.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's not typical of The Rock.
He has, he's like a professor kind of guy. He's a primatologist, so he has students. So he has, like, at the beginning of the movie, there are these, like, college-age kids who follow him around, but they don't really appear in the rest of the movie. So for most of the movie, he's paired up with Naomi Harris, who was Moneypenny in the Daniel Craig movies. And she plays a geneticist who used to work for the Evil Corporation, which is run by evil siblings Malin Ackerman and Jake Lacey, who are very busy being evil in their evil office tower. Evil. Yeah, the character animation on George is great because it's Weta, and Weta are really, really good with monkeys. Mm-hmm. And it is a performance. I forgot the name of the guy who does it. But the stuff is like, the relationship between Dwayne Johnson and the gorilla is just stuff we've seen before. So they're trying to make that the emotional anchor, and it doesn't really work, because it is a very generic, a boy and his ex kind of story. But yeah, there are points when you see George acting out and you feel kind of sad. And you're like, why can't he? He's going through so much pain. So there are some moments. There are some moments of that. Who is it? Jeffrey Dean Morgan is very funny in this movie. He plays like a swaggering cowboy government agent. So he's got a very thick, like, southern drawl. And it's like, I don't care about anything else. I just want to get my mission done. That kind of thing. So he's fun. Joe Manganiello is in it for 5 minutes. They totally waste him. He's a generic mercenary guy.
Who dies immediately?
Pretty much. Spoiler. Yeah, this is not Avengers Infinity War. Okay, so that's Rampage. Like, I can see where they were going with it, and I can see how it would have been better than it is. And a part of me enjoys it because, it's at least it's more enjoyable than Pacific Rim Uprising. Because a lot of it is carried by Dwayne Johnson, and he's not doing anything interesting, but he's very good at doing this particular thing.
I'm not gonna watch this film.
You don't have to.
Okay. Yeah. Alright, so let's go on to Avengers. Do you want to talk about the experience first, or do you want to talk about the movie and then we can sort of talk about the experience later on?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea to talk about the movie, and then we'll segue into them coming here. Okay. So Avengers Infinity War.
What's it about?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to give a plot summary without spoilers, but I have practiced this a lot, so I think I'm not too bad at it.
Okay.
The movie centers on Thanos, played by Josh Brolin. He's an intergalactic warlord and a mad titan, and over the past however many movies, I think starting with Captain America or starting with Thor, we introduce the idea of these infinity gems or infinity stones as they're known in the MCU. So there are 6 of these: time, reality, space, power, soul, mind, that control various aspects of the universe. And Thanos is on a quest to go collect them all and stick them on the shiny glove called the Infinity Gauntlet. So finally, after many, many movies, his quest leads him to Earth, where he is faced with Earth's mightiest heroes. Just, robot roll call from MSC3K. Everybody, starring everybody as everybody. And they have to stop him from doing this, otherwise he's going to kill lots of people. Summary.
Got it. Yeah, great summary.
Thank you.
Alright, so this film was 10 years in the making, and it amazes me that someone could pull this off.
Yes, that was my feeling through the whole thing. I was like, respect to Marcus and McFeely, respect to the Russo brothers, respect. This is not easy.
And because everything has been set up since Iron Man came out first, right? Iron Man before the Hulk.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about the Hulk. But so Iron Man set up everything that led up to Infinity War. And what amazed me is how much we all care about the characters. Because because this film is not really the film about the Avengers, it's about Thanos. And we don't have to understand why characters do certain things that they do because they're already set up in their films. So you don't have to waste time on that. And because of that, you can focus on the villain, who is, to be honest, I think he is the protagonist of the film because he gets the arc. He's the one that you learn the most in this film. He's the one that gets character development. He's the one where you see struggle, and he's the one with the climax and all that stuff.
Yeah, so that's how the Russo brothers constructed this movie. They said they wanted it to be like a 90s heist thriller, and the heist is Thanos getting the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people who complain that, there's too many characters, not really, because I think the characters move the plot along. Everything that the characters do is to move the plot along. And maybe it sucks that your favorite is a plot point, but they are in this film because they are not the heroes of they are the heroes of the film, but they're not the main characters of the film. And if you think about it, it's 2.5 hours. I never felt bored at all in this film. Do you feel bored at any part? Like, is there any part that you think, okay, maybe we should take this out because they could have made this shorter?
I think there's very, very little fat in this. I think that for a 2.5 hour movie, it moves spectacularly. Okay, I'll tell you when I felt a bit of a drag. The beginning of the giant Wakanda fight.
Okay.
Like when that's when my brain sort of went, okay, this is Helm's Deep. This is that kind of a battle. And I checked out a little bit. So that is when there's not as much character engagement. So like, it's interesting because the structure of this is kind of fight, talk. And the scenes in which people are talking are generally more engaging than the scenes in which people are fighting. And that's something which is done very well in this film. At the same time, I don't begrudge them the fact that these action sequences are very complex to conceptualize, to sort of fit everyone in there and make something new, make something we haven't really seen before. So there are certain action sequences which I really liked as well. So kind of going back to what you were talking about, the structure of the movie, there's never really been a movie like this before, ever. And I think it's useful to think of it not as a movie, but as a season finale of a TV show. So it's kind of like there have been 18 episodes of a TV show before this, and this is the big season finale.
Very expensive TV shows.
Yeah. And that's really interesting because I was saying in my review, there's never ever been a studio that can tell the audience, right, I assume you've watched all 18 of these. Even with Harry Potter, it's like, I assume you've watched 7, 8 of these. Or Star Wars, I assume you've watched 7, 8 of these.
Oh no, Deathly Hallows, if you've never seen the previous films, there's no way you understand what's going on.
Well, but there are 7 of those before Deathly Hallows. And there are 18 of these before Infinity War. Yeah, so I'm I get what you mean, but it's the scale. It's really the breadth of it. And I was trying to go through in my head the number of movies you need to have. You definitely need to have watched before you've seen this one to get it. Like,
okay, so what do you think are the films that you have to watch before this?
Yeah, it's tricky, right? Because they go back to a lot of them. So I think it begins with Avengers 2012.
Do you need that? I feel like Civil War has kind of changed the course of that.
I think you kind of need that to... you need that because that's when you first see Thanos.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's...
But, I mean, he's right at the end.
That's when you get, like...
It doesn't really matter.
Chitauri. Okay. Okay, I think you need Age of Ultron for the Vision stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need Civil War. You need Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Because that's all the Marvel Cosmic stuff. I don't know whether you need Winter Soldier or not. Do you think you need Winter Soldier?
I'll tell you my list later.
Yeah. And then I think you need all the recent ones. You need Doctor Strange, you need Ragnarok, you need Black Panther.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's like it's about 10. You don't need Ant-Man. You definitely don't need Ant-Man.
No, you don't need it. By the way, this movie makes me so excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because, yeah, I know it takes place before this, but now it makes me excited because I need something happy.
It's a sorbet course.
Great.
Yeah, it's totally the sorbet course. Just like the first Ant-Man was a sorbet course after Age of Ultron. So we need a sorbet course so much, and I totally get it. I think that's very, very clever programming. Mm-hmm. Like, it goes Ant-Man and then Captain Marvel in March, and then Avengers 4 contracts end in May 2019.
Okay, so mine is definitely the both Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're good films too.
Yep.
Thor Ragnarok, definitely.
Yeah, you need that.
I do think you can kind of skip Black Panther because they weren't in it that much.
Yeah, kinda.
Civil War?
You need Civil War.
To understand the Tony and and what happened. Yeah, because and they also tell you what happened to. Well, if you watch Thor, I think they'll explain what happened to Hulk. So maybe you don't need Civil War. Wait, hang on. He wasn't in Civil War.
Who?
Oh, no, Hulk. Sorry, I was confusing Civil War with the other one.
Hulk wasn't in Civil War. We saw Hulk at the end of Age of Ultron fly off to where he landed up in Sakaar in Thor Ragnarok.
Because I feel like you should watch... Okay, if you only had 3 to watch, I would definitely say Guardians and Thor. Because Thor is all the emotional weight.
Yes.
You see everything that Thor was, moaning about. Yeah. And then the emotional impact in one of the first few parts of Avengers is very... It makes you think of Thor and you're like, I thought Ragnarok was a comedy, What happened?
Yeah. It's
and then Guardians definitely because of the Gamora and Thanos relationship.
All the cosmic stuff, yeah.
All the cosmic stuff, and also because they're good movies, and the Guardians are in it a lot.
Yes.
So it's good that you understand where their characters are from. Sometimes I think Doctor Strange, because he's a very weird character, because he's all the magic stuff. So if you don't know what he does, it's kind of, you don't know what he is. You can definitely skip Spider-Man because he is Spider-Man. You know what he is.
Yeah. You see Spider-Man in this movie and you're like, that's Spider-Man.
Yeah. So, I do think you just need 3. Maybe the second Avengers or Civil War, but I think you can sort of catch up that, Tony and, like, these 2 characters had a rift.
No, it definitely works better if you've seen all of them.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
my friend got so lost.
Yeah, like Marvel is assuming that everyone saw all of them. And the thing is that for a studio to be able to do that, it is crazy, like it is very, very cocky, and I love that. At the same time,
I never doubted you, Disney.
At the same time, they are not making things easy for themselves. Like, this is a movie where they do not make things easy for themselves, and I respect that to a degree. So
it is a 2.5-hour film, so that means less time to less showings, and also they require you to do your homework.
Yes,
and yet it is doing so well in the box office.
Yeah, so...
But then again, it can be front-loaded, so I don't know.
We'll see, but like a $630 million global opening weekend has not been heard of before. So that's kind of insane. And I don't know whether this has the legs that Black Panther has. Like, I don't think so, but I think it will still make a lot of money. And that's the thing, is that it's a movie that demands you to have done your homework, and I feel like a lot of the negative reviews kind of bemoan that. They kind of say, I don't want to do the homework. And there's
stupid.
There's one negative review which, I agree to an extent. There's one negative review where I like how it's phrased. I disagree with the sentiment, but I like how it's phrased. And it said that watching this movie felt like gorging on tapas. Like, you're really, really full, but you're not satisfied. And I get why that person has that takeaway from the movie, because it is very vignette-y. But that is a necessity of the structure. Like, in order to get around the how many million characters there are in this movie, they group them, they form them into groups, and the groups make a lot of sense. The groups are kind of surprising.
Yeah, and the groups are fun.
The groups are kind of surprising. Yeah, in this movie, it's like, it's kind of like you coming up with a Team Iron Man and Team Cap, but on a slightly different scale. You're coming up with...
And Team Thor.
Yeah, you're coming up with, like, who are you going to put X and Y and Z with, and how are they going to meet up, and what are they going to do on the way there. So this movie, I can imagine, like, in my head, it's Marcus and McFeely and the Russo brothers have covered an entire, like, suite at the Disney offices in cards and string on the wall, like Carrie and Homeland. And it's just like the entire room is covered with diagrams, and it's them plotting this thing out.
Yeah. Because
it's crazy. It fits together crazy, yeah.
Yeah, I love this film, if it hasn't been clear.
So do I, yeah. It's like, what I said coming up to it was, I'm just worried it has the same problems that Civil War has, that the problems Civil War has are compounded here. And I didn't feel that. At all. I thought that Civil War was kind of bloated, and it didn't really have enough room for the conflict between Tony and Steve to breathe. Mm-hmm. And also Civil War, where it was the most obvious of all of these movies that the villain was a plot device. And this one doesn't have any of those problems at all.
And this time the heroes are the plot device.
Yeah, so with this movie, like, if the people whom you really, really like are not at the forefront, that's because they'll be at the forefront next time. And it's kind of like they have to shift around who gets the front seat, who calls shotgun. And I think that's interesting. It's like, in this movie, people were saying, such and such a character, even though they were a founding Avenger, does not have enough of a driving force in the film. But, hang out until the fourth one, and then you'll see how it all fits together. So I think a lot of the criticisms with this can be answered with the fourth one. Like, I don't think we can call plot hole before we have seen the fourth one.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing as well, yeah.
Yeah, my favorite characters are the Guardians, so I'm very satisfied. Maybe that's why I like this film so much, because there's a lot of Guardians.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the Guardians in this movie is they're so consistent. The characters are so consistent. I think that Marcus and McFeely had a wonderful time writing the Guardians. I feel like when they went to watch the first Guardians movie, they were like, I can't wait till we get to write those guys.
And if I'm not wrong, James Gunn also had a hand in writing the Guardians because he wanted his characters to be consistent.
Yeah, they
And I love Drax. He's so funny. And he really lightens the mood up, which is nice. I know a lot of people complain like, oh, in the first one, he's such a rich character. His family died and now he wants revenge. But it's like, well, it's nice that he moved on. He still loves his wife. He still loves his daughter. But he's moved on. He's a happier person now and I'm happy for him. He found another family and now he's happy. And I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I'm happy for him.
And the thing about how Drax is written is that it really plays to the strengths of Dave Bautista. So,
yeah,
and the thing about, like, James Gunn being brought in is quite interesting because they had to consult with a lot of people. They had to bring a lot of people in to ensure that there was kind of continuity. Like, they brought in Eric Pearson, who co-wrote Ragnarok, to make sure that there was some continuity. So I think, like, the Marcus and McFeely definitely had a first pass. And then after that, they sent it around to the relevant parties to make sure that it all linked up. Because the continuity of this is very tight. I think the one thing that is inconsistent is power levels, and that can't be avoided in a superhero movie. It's like certain people get really, really strong when they need to be, and then they are not when they don't need to be. But I think that's... that's... Can you hear the ominous thunder?
Yep, I can. I'm also feeling it as well
This
here.
ominous thunder. Yeah, so...
It's almost like there's a God of Thunder. God of Thunder, right?
There's almost a God of Thunder, yeah.
God
of Hammers?
Someone
Are you Thor,
someone
God of
brought
Hammers?
it up. Someone brought it up. Why is it that I think Taika Waititi was the one that retweeted it. Why is it that the God of Thunder summons lightning? And I was like,
Strokes chin. I never thought of that. I think it's because thunder is difficult to portray visually.
You mean lightning? Oh, yeah, okay, that's true, sorry.
Right, yeah. So I think, like, lightning is an accompaniment to thunder, but it is the more visually compelling accompaniment.
Yeah.
But that would be very interesting. Like, how do you visualize thunder without lightning? This is one of those questions that will keep me up.
You shake the camera.
You give it a slight tap.
But it was a comic, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, so far I am very proud of us for talking about this without spoilers, because it's actually very fun. It's a fun challenge I set myself. And I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of feel like a little bit overwhelmed with all the people, like everyone talking about it, like all the reactions to it. Like I mean, I cannot, like when I go on the YouTube front page and they're recommending all of these explainer videos, which I don't want to watch, and these videos have millions of views. And they are uploaded like just a few hours ago. So people are really, really into this. People are talking about it. There are already a lot of memes. And I think like the atmosphere surrounding this movie, it really is an event. And everyone wants their movie to be an event. But I haven't seen it really been that big, even within the MCU until this point, The hype surrounding it and everyone's reactions to it, and everyone freaking out about it, and people crying. And there's even, like, footage of someone who fainted at the end of a screening and had to be EMT'd out somewhere in the States. And like, this is what studios want. Studios want all their movies to garner this kind of a reaction. And I don't think we've ever seen it on this scale, even from the MCU.
Well, don't worry. Our Lord God Disney, or Mickey Mouse, I guess. He is, he's playing another crossover soon with Wreck-It Ralph. With all the Disney princesses. That's my Avengers. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I hope like it's more than just a cameo.
That's my event of the year.
Because it sounds like that's a cameo.
Yeah, it's definitely a
cameo. Yeah.
I think they're trying to redeem the princesses by making them, instead of waiting around to be fighting back something. I don't know.
We'll see. Like, the trailer for Wreck-It Ralph looks so great. Like, they end with a very dark
It reminds me a little bit of Emoji Movie, so I'm kind of scared. But it's Disney, so I'm sure they can pull it off.
Yeah, the Emoji Movie, like, done right, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so talking about Disney is a good time to kind of segue into the Avengers Infinity War fan event, which I have things to say about. Yeah, okay, so 2 years ago we had Civil War. That was an unmitigated disaster. It was really, really bad. So this year, they're attempting to have some kind of organizational structure with the thing. So first, I've complained about it so much, but I've not complained about it on this show, so I shall complain about it now. I was not invited to cover the event in any press capacity, so I didn't get to go into the press conference, didn't get roundtables, let alone one-on-ones, didn't get to go in for the red carpet, so none of it. And that was very, very disappointing because, like, it didn't really make sense. They said that they had very limited spaces, but a lot of my friends who got in said there were a lot of empty spaces in the press conference. So there, something is up there, and it's kind of useless to speculate. So, like, I just felt kind of very defeated, and I decided to go as a fan at 6:30 in the morning, and I was too late. So I
thought you're not allowed to do overnight
you're not,
stay anyway.
You're not.
So.
People would. You're supposed to. The hall opens at 7 a.m. Everyone. I mean, people showed up at 3:50. So, and there was just a lot of yelling. There's a lot of shoving. And after I got through 3 hours of the queue, I told my friend I'm very sweaty, but it's mostly other people's sweat.
Oh, gross. Okay.
Yeah. So there were different colored wristbands. So the colors sort of designate when is the window you can enter the event plaza. So if you have a red wristband, you can be the first batch to enter. If you have a green wristband, then you're the second batch to enter. If you're a black wristband, you don't enter at all. You go into the exhibition halls and you watch it on the screen. And the funny thing was, they announced the stars are entering through the exhibition hall. And you could hear everyone in the event plaza groan. It was very funny.
I don't understand. So, wait. What do you mean different batches go in at different times?
Yeah, so if you have different colored wristbands, you are only allowed to enter the area at certain times. So everyone was camping out waiting for the queue to open, like trying to spot when they would start letting people in. So it was like 12 hours of paranoia.
But what's the point of letting them in if the stars aren't there?
No, as in letting you into the event plaza to wait for them to come on stage because it's a stage event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the earlier you come in, the closer you can be to the stage, ostensibly. Mm-hmm. Right, and then if you can't get into there, you are in one of the halls, which is where they hold STGCC. So those halls, you watch it on the screen. But what people didn't know is the stars came in through those halls. Their cars entered like from a curtain into those halls. So they got out in the hall first before they went out to the event plaza. So that's what everyone didn't know was going to happen. It's very, very confusing.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, it's bad, but I am one of thousands of people who will tell you the same thing. And for me, it was just that feeling of standing behind, hundreds of people, just feeling that wave of ennui wash over me and feeling that realization that we are just props. Disney just wants props. They want hundreds of thousands of people clamoring, and I'm one of those people. And it was just like the realization of that I am an active, I'm complicit in the late stage death throes of capitalism.
Yeah.
So that was like a horrible feeling. Just sort of standing there.
It's okay, Jedd.
Yes, thank you. And just like
I will forever show off that I went to an event no one cared about, which is the Guardians of the Galaxy premiere, and turns out that film was amazing.
That was
so I have James Gunn and Dave Bautista's signature with me right now.
Yeah,
and I will forever cherish that.
That's awesome.
Because
I mean,
I did that because I was bored, and also because I like James Gunn as a director. So it was really nice to meet him.
Yeah,
we talked about a baby's penis, so that was kind of fun.
Yeah, he was talking about the statue at the
Right, at Gardens by the Bay.
Yes, I forgot the sculptor's name, but it's Mark something. And actually, that one was the best. I think that press conference, that roundtable interview, that experience was the best that I had. I had the most
because no one knew that the Guardians were gonna be that big.
Yeah, because I think we really, it was really interesting to see Dave Bautista because he is so different from what you'd expect him to be. He was really shy and kind of insecure, and he was very vulnerable and very open. And he said that when he received the call that confirmed he was going to play Drax, he broke down in his car. He wept and cried, and he had to turn around and go home. He couldn't take it.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, because he was saying that there were so many indications that someone else was going to get the role, Jason Momoa. So everyone thought that it would go to Jason Momoa. And then when it got to him, he really couldn't take it, and it's so great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean...
I love that Guardians has so many weird casting. Like Chris Pratt. Who knew that he was an action star? I didn't.
Yeah.
Or he probably did. He's Bert Macklin.
Bert Macklin. FBI, yeah.
You thought he was
I
dead?
mean, like, Michael Rooker, Sean Gunn, I mean, all those regular folks that James Gunn had with them. And I think that's one of the triumphs of the MCU, is giving their filmmakers obvious creative control.
Yeah.
Like learning that Ryan Coogler had final cut over Black Panther. Like, this is a 31-year-old director. And that's like his third feature film. And that was awesome. So for the Marvel Studios top brass to trust him with that, it paid off. It paid off big time.
I think that Guardians of the Galaxy was the first film that taught Marvel, hey, maybe our directors know better than we do. You know?
I think, I can see where you're coming from, and I think that it definitely was a key moment in the thing, but I think we saw that with Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 was like a very Shane Black movie.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true, but it didn't do... Oh, hang on, it did pretty well on the box office.
Yeah,
right?
it actually was the highest grossing solo movie before Black Panther.
Okay.
In the MCU, which is kind of weird.
I like Iron Man 3, but
I love Iron Man 3. I love it so much. I love it mostly because I don't have a childhood attachment to the Mandarin.
Yeah, me too.
Like it.
Okay, to be honest, when the Mandarin plot twist came out, I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, me too.
And then I found out everyone hated it. And I understand why.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know, I didn't know anything about the Mandarin yet.
If they did that to the Joker, I would be pissed.
Yeah. So I understand. I understand why people hated it.
That's my double standard.
As in, I understand why they hated that plot twist, but not the entire film. Because I think the entire film is a very good character study on Tony Stark.
Yes, like taking the suit away from him really like let them tell a lot of the story. Okay, so the summary of the Avengers Infinity War fan event. Like it was
Not
awful,
worth it.
but it was less awful than Civil War, I'm sure. And there's no physical way to make it not awful.
I'm still really pissed off that the Guardians thing didn't have Chris Pratt. I love Chris Pratt. And I will defend him, especially what he did in this Avengers film. But I will defend him.
Well, yeah.
That's all.
Sorry, that which Guardians thing didn't have Chris Pratt?
Sorry, the Guardians red carpet thing.
When they came
green
here.
Carpet. Yeah, when they came
Yeah, because
here.
usually these things are like Team A, Team B. So they send the cooler team to more important places.
But Zoe Saldana was in this, and I think she is sort of Team A.
I think
and we got James Gunn.
Team A was Vin Diesel, Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper.
Oh, I didn't know Bradley Cooper went on tours.
I think he did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm not
Sometimes
wrong,
I forget that he's in the MCU.
yeah, me too. But his performance is so great. Like he sounds so different, and that's what you want to be in a voice in the booth. You want to sound different from how you actually sound. Because James Gunn was saying that the executives were saying this doesn't sound like Bradley Cooper, and he was saying yes, it sounds like Rocket. That's the point. Because at one point they were saying Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, and I was like, no.
I don't think they can do the dramatic roles well, to be honest.
No, yeah,
because Rocket does have some dramatic moments.
And when Rocket is sad, like Bradley Cooper does that very well.
And also the acting in it is really good.
Yes, like because
VFX.
there's a lot of performance capture stuff for Rocket. And there's a lot of like Bradley Cooper's little facial expressions that they track onto the CG Rocket.
Wow. Okay.
Boy, I don't know how much of this is
That-
I don't know how much of this is usable.
It's okay.
This is like a spectacularly unusable episode about a very important movie.
Okay, so let's go on to spoilers. Which
Yeah.
death got you the most?
Which death got me the most? Maria Hill.
Yeah.
Like, I was fine with everything until they killed Robin Scherbatsky.
Okay. That's a very odd character.
No, Maria Hill is my
okay,
number one MCU crush, so that's why that got me the most. I find Kobe Smulders very, very attractive. Like I find her more attractive than all the other attractive women in the MCU who are already attractive. Like
The one...
yeah.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
Marvel, Disney, please listen to me. No one listens to this, but listen to me, Marvel. Can you please stop putting Peter Parker in perilous situations where he is so sad and lost and scared? He's just a kid. Leave him alone. That is all. His scene when he leaves or where he's fading away, he's like, I don't want to go. I want to punch someone in the face.
Oh no, I love it.
Why did they always do this to him? They did that when he was crushed in the boulder thing and he's like, someone please help me. And it's the saddest thing. Oh, I love Tom Holland. He's so good. And the thing is, I really doubted him in Civil War and I feel like such a jerk now because he's so good in this role.
Tom Holland is
he's so
amazing.
cute.
Yeah. He's very, very endearing. And he has, like, I think he embodies that spirit of Peter Parker very much, where he's just really excited to be there. And in
There
this
was one
movie...
interview that he had where the interviewer was asking, who do you think would win in a RuPaul's Drag Race? Robert Downey Jr., Tom Holland, or Chris something? And then he answered, oh, Robert Downey Jr. because he has fast cars. And it's so adorable. He's so cute.
He is very cute, and I love how like cruel his death scene was. It was so mean, and I think it was great. I think this movie is a very manipulative, but they earned the right to do so, and that's a tricky thing to get there. Like, this movie does a lot of things which a lot of movies wish they could do but can't, because they just haven't built up that capital, that relationship to the characters.
Oh, but the death scene that got to me the most was Gamora.
Yes,
Because
I think that was the
that was
intention.
very scary.
The intention was to sort of put a lot of weight on the Soul Stone sacrifice.
Yeah, and I think because the previous deaths were Loki and Idris Elba's character.
Heimdall, yeah, they killed
and
them
you can
up
kind of
front.
see. Yeah, and you can kind of see. Oh, I guess they're dead.
Yeah.
But then when Gamora dies, you're like, no, there's no way they'll kill her off.
Yes.
And then when she's falling down, you're like, nah, she's not dead yet. And then you see her lying down, you're like, oh crap, I think she is dead. And it sucks.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like, this is a movie where going into it, everyone is speculating who lives and who dies. And for them to sort of pull a fast one on everyone and still surprise everybody with how it ended is spectacular, because I think how it ends is very, very clever. Sort of the idea of randomly killing half of everybody and it's totally random. That it is a very morbid, like, Team Iron Man, Team Cap. It's like Team Alive, Team Disintegrated. So for them to sort of go through who are we gonna kill to motivate the rest of them. So, like, killing Bucky, killing Sam, right, killing Falcon and Winter Soldier motivates Captain America to be a main character in the fourth one and to have a heroic sacrifice. Team Alive and Team Disintegrated. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's really interesting because going to this, everyone says, alright, they definitely are not killing Black Panther because he made $1 billion.
Yeah.
They're not killing Spider-Man because Spider-Man Homecoming 2 is already in pre-production. They're not killing any of the main Guardians because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to come out in 2020. So...
I do think that the next Guardians film will be about finding a way to get Gamora alive.
Yeah, I mean, okay, what is interesting about Gamora is at the very end of the movie, Thanos goes and meets baby Gamora in a place. And yeah, everyone's theorizing that is Soul World, and I think that's correct. That is inside the Soul Stone. So there's a pocket dimension where the Soul Stone has stored some or all of everyone who's died. So there's a chance that Gamora comes back. But I hope she doesn't come back in Avengers 4. I hope she comes back in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 like you posited. Because everyone was like asking me after this movie, is like, what do you think is gonna happen? And I was like, I have no theories because I don't really see a point in having theories.
Well, the first thing that came to my mind when they're disintegrating was, I don't think that they died.
Yeah, that's not
I think
permanent.
they were transferred to another dimension. Because there is no body, there is no ash.
There's flakes.
Legs?
Flakes.
Flakes?
Flakes.
There are? I don't think there are.
Like Steve was running his hand through the remnants of Bucky.
No, that was the leaves. That was the ground.
Was that the ground?
Yeah, I think so. Because I remember Spider-Man didn't have any body left. Well, that's kind of gross. I know none of them had any remnants of them being there left.
Right, because
I thought that they went to another dimension. So when everyone was like, "Oh, they all died," I'm like, "They did?"
No, yeah.
It didn't occur to me.
They sort of went to purgatory. No, I want Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 to be Rocket carrying around a sack of flakes.
He's the only one left, though.
It's him and Nebula carrying around a sack of flakes.
Yeah.
No, it was so great. Like Groot dying was so awful. It was so great. No, this is really, really well done, because it's like, obviously we can't kill everyone, but doing this is just as bad. Like, making you wait for a year is the closest we can get to that. And that was very, very clever. Like, everything about this movie is so well thought out.
It's Empire Strikes Back. It's Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it's Empire Strikes Back times 100. It's like they looked at Empire Strikes Back. It's like, how can we make this so much worse for the heroes? How can we make it so much more that the villain wins? And it was so great. It was so great. Like, seeing everyone gasp and yell at the screen and freak out was so great. And like, after the end credits, they say Thanos will return. And then people...
So you know who the main character
People
is?
yell at the screen and said, "Fuck you!"
Oh. I didn't get that.
It was so great. No, it was so great. Yeah, so that's really, really fun. Like, seeing him win and seeing everyone else lose and sort of sitting in that for a year.
Alright, so I've broken it down to 4 parts that we can talk about in spoilers.
Yes, let's do that. We're at the 1 hour mark now.
So we have Thanos.
Okay.
What do you think of him and his motivations? I have a question. You're not that familiar with Marvel, right?
Nope.
I'm not familiar with Marvel either. So there are some questions I am kind of curious about, and I should have asked Lucas because he is a Marvel nerd.
Alright.
But can he... Okay, so he said that the world is finite. So I'm wondering, when he has the gauntlet, is it okay that he uses that to create more stuff for everyone so they can all live happily ever after?
Yeah, I've heard that question a lot of places. Like, what is the extent of the power of the gauntlet? And I feel like this is one of those questions which is like, can God create a stone so heavy he himself cannot move it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The answer is no,
Yeah.
probably.
So I think, like, when he says the resources are finite, like, it's easier to destroy than to create. That's why I'm a critic.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's a really good... Okay, sorry, I don't... Yes, okay. That's a really good point. That does sound interesting. And I like that they did the thing where Thanos has a reason on why he does the things that he does, but you never justify genocide. You know?
Yeah.
And I really like that. A lot of people who said, "Oh, but is he really the villain?" Like, really? Yes, he is.
Yes, he is the villain.
Because, yeah, it's so crazy how people are like, "Oh, just because he has a reason, he may not be really the bad guy." It's like, no, he is a bad guy because he is planning mass genocide.
Yes.
And not only that, he's planning it randomly as well.
Like a similar thing to Killmonger.
Yeah. Except Killmonger is also... He's racist as well. So,
Yes, exactly.
You know.
Yeah. And so my favorite scene in this movie is the Gamora flashback.
Yeah.
That's
The
a spectacular scene, yeah, because that lays out his motivation very clearly. It sort of shows you the cruelty of what he's doing, because women and children are dying in front of your eyes. And, like, the very first thing Thanos does in this movie is kill refugees.
Yeah.
So, like, there you go. He's definitely evil.
Yeah, and it just... I hate those think pieces where they're like, "Oh, but Chris Pratt is the real villain." Yeah, Chris Pratt did not murder
No,
someone.
yeah, Chris
because he
Pratt
wants to
made a
destroy the
mistake
universe.
because he was emotional. That does not make him
Yeah, and
a
it
supervillain.
fits with Peter's character as well.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
yeah, totally. Thanos, I felt like it was really, really well done in that how much they retained of Josh Brolin. Like, I have heard some complaints that he sounds too American, but I actually really like that. I like that he sounds like Josh Brolin because I think it's kind of a counterpoint to, Ebony Moore sounds very, very British. Hear me and rejoice. So I like that as a counterpoint, like a very brutish American voice as your big bad to sort of emphasize that he's physically very strong as well.
What do you think of Thanos' goons?
Yeah, the Black Order. So they're cool.
And Squidward.
They're distinct. But I think Carl Obsidian looks a bit too much like Thanos. Like I had a friend who watched it and she thought that Carl Obsidian was Thanos sometimes.
Okay.
The big guy, Terry Notary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember any of them except the girl.
Yeah, Proxima Midnight.
And Squidward.
Carrie Coon. Yeah. Squidward is Ebony Moore. And then the goblin-looking guy is Corvus Glaive. So I think that, if I'm not wrong, their powers are very drastically altered from how they are in the books. And in the comics, like I think they all have much more complicated backstories. But as serving the purpose they serve, it's cool. And I like seeing that Thanos clearly wanted Nebula and Gamora to be part of this crew.
Yeah.
And that was his plan for them all along. And so you sort of see where they could have ended up if they had stuck with Thanos. And I think that is the secondary function that the Black Order serves besides being big and scary and doing his bidding for him. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I really don't remember any of them. And I'm guessing the part where you said that you zoned out was during the big fight scene where it's like aliens.
Yes, when they unleashed
one.
the Outriders. And my mind sort of clicked into this is a Helm's Deep style battle.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, I think it was okay. Like, I thought that the fight between Thanos and the Guardians and Tony Stark were far more interesting.
oh, definitely. Because there was a focus. And because you could see them use their powers in concert with each other. Like, seeing Star-Lord hop on those little platforms that Doctor Strange generated. That is such a cool image that you would not think you'd ever see in a movie. And like Spider-Man's whole, magic with a kick. I thought that was very fun as well.
Hold with a cake.
Yeah. Magic with a kick.
Oh yeah. That was cute.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
He is very cute.
So, okay, here's my problem with that fight scene. So the reason why they are fighting back is because they don't want Vision to die.
Yes.
And they say, oh, it's worth it. You are worth it. One life isn't worth trading another. I'm pretty sure they just traded a few hundred lives for Vision to live. Didn't they? Is it just me?
You mean
I'm pretty sure some people died
during the
in that
Wakanda
battle.
fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Because the reason why they aren't killing Vision is because Scarlet Witch is in love with him and they didn't want to kill him. So in the end, they decided, okay, let's just sacrifice a few, just so Vision can live. Which I think is a little like, yeah, that's a plot armor right there.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like, the whole Wakanda battle was pointless because Thanos got to Vision after all.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with it being pointless.
Yeah, so am I.
It didn't feel worth it right from the beginning because...
Right, yeah.
The point of them is to save, because they think that lives are important, but obviously Wakanda lives aren't to them.
Oh, I am so close to making a very inappropriate joke, which I won't make.
So yeah. I didn't like that part. I didn't like that plot.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming
un-
from. I agree with you.
I didn't understand the Scarlet Witch and Vision relationship.
I like that very much,
They
actually.
only... Well, I know, because they only hinted at that in Civil War. And after that, nothing happened in between. And then suddenly they're together, which I guess is fine.
Yeah, because
but I don't get it.
There's 2 years in between Civil War and this movie.
Oh,
so
okay.
presumably during the 2 years they got together.
Yeah, I still think it's weird that she's together with a robot, but she's a weird person. So
Yeah, it's kind of
fine.
interesting because if you like in Civil War, they're already flirting. They're already like kind of almost boyfriend girlfriend. And I like the idea, like when you first, that's actually the most emotional scene in this movie for me, is when you first see them in Scotland and they're by themselves and all they wanted was to get away. All they wanted was a little bit of time for themselves and they couldn't even get that. So that got me the most, I think. So I did not cry watching this movie, but I was closest to tears during the first Vision and Scarlet Witch scene.
Okay.
When he's like
I'm
human
happy
Paul
you liked
Bettany.
it. I do love that Captain America entrance. That was really fun.
Yeah. Or having
I
him
was like,
step
whoa,
out.
who's that?
Yes. There's a dude on the
Because-
opposite side of the tracks.
Because I thought that he will only appear in Wakanda because of the trailers, the way they cut it.
Yes.
You know, the part where they're like, give this man a shield.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was the part where he would come in. So I was really surprised when Captain America came.
And what is so what is interesting about the trailers is that they're cut by people who don't know the plot.
Yeah.
And I kind of
Oh,
love
that's
it.
Cool.
Sorry?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So like
Because let's face it, the trailers won't convince you to watch trailers won't convince you to watch Infinity War. It's the hype that will.
yeah, like the whole scene, the famous scene at the end of the trailer of them running at the camera, that does not happen in the movie.
Yeah.
So that was
With Hulk in the
created like
background.
as a ruse for the trailer, because in that scene we see Hulk, and Hulk doesn't show up past the first, like, the opening fight.
Yeah. And I just want to say I really love that Bruce Banner stood up on his own with the Hulkbuster. So that was really fun.
I liked it too, because I really love how Mark Ruffalo plays Bruce Banner. I really like that character. I identify with that character a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so like to sort of go back to the opening, I love the opening. I think the opening really established like such a grave tone.
It's really sad. They showed kids dead.
Yeah, it was
And
like
Ragnarok was a comedy. As Guardians was all of us, Jedd. And they're all dead. And they're all dead.
yeah, it's
There's no
like,
more Asgard left.
Thor is a very shitty king. Like under Thor's watch, Asgard got destroyed and everyone died.
It wasn't him though. It was Loki that was the king. The fake king, but he was the king.
He was technically. Yeah, like Loki being Odin. Alright, that's fine. Let's blame it on Loki then. Oh, it was so great. And I love like Thanos sort of almost turning to the character going, no resurrections this time.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I'm gonna assume that he's really dead.
yes, I hope that he is, because to be fair, Tom Hiddleston has been very lucky, considering that most supervillains in superhero movie franchises last maximum 2 movies.
Yeah. And he got 3. Oh, 4.
He got many.
4?
He got 5. He got 5.
Okay.
Because
So let's talk about Thor.
Yeah, let's talk about Thor. Okay, boy. So when he said, "What more do I have to lose?"
And he starts crying.
Yes, that scene with Rocket, that was
So sad.
the realest I felt that character has ever been. That was the most believable the Thor character has ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved seeing Chris Hemsworth get to that place. And I loved seeing him play off against Rocket. And more power, Rabbit!
Did you think he was the standout of this film?
A
lot of people thought that he was a standout in this film.
Yeah, I think
Besides Thanos, of course.
I think so. I think that they put a lot of emphasis on his quest. And so I said my favorite part of the movie is Baby Gamora. And tied for that, my favorite part of the movie is Giant Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, that was really fun. I keep saying fun, I'm sorry, but it's a really fun film.
Yeah, it's interesting.
A very sad film,
because,
but very
like,
fun.
I don't think the fun undercuts the stakes, which is a problem I have with a lot of MCU movies.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it a few times, and one of the times I watched it, my friend really didn't like Drax at the end of the emotional scene with Gamora and Star-Lord.
Oh, okay. I liked it.
I was okay with that. Yeah, him being invisible.
Yeah.
Because I felt that was in character.
Damn it. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I mean, I do understand why someone would not like that scene, but I liked it because I like Drax.
Yep.
And all right, let's go back to Thor.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. That scene about him talking about how everyone is gone. So it's like, and then he starts tearing up, and Rocket has to go back there and be like, okay, guess I have to be the captain now. And then he goes and talks to him. And the first time he meets the Guardians as well was really funny because everyone was talking about his abs and, oh, this is what a real man should look like. And then Peter Quill had to lower his voice to make him sound manlier.
Oh, that was
so I
so
really
funny.
liked that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah. They really, because everything before that was so tense and there was so much seriousness to it, and then you see the galaxy, and I forgot what song starts playing, and you're like, oh hell yeah, it's the Guardians.
Rubber Band Man by the Spinners. Yeah. And okay, the thing that this movie does very well is the J cuts. Like just before we cut, we hear the soundtrack of the next scene. So they did that before we got to the Guardians, and they also did that before we got to Wakanda. So that hypes the audience up because the audience recognizes what that music cue from the next scene implies.
Yeah.
And that was very clever.
Oh man, I got so hyped for the Guardians. But anyway, Thor, Rocket, Groot, I love their subplot so much.
Yes.
It's so fun.
The little quest.
I mean, it's very funny, but it's also very heartfelt from Thor's part. And to see Groot stop, like, you know, putting down his game after seeing what Thor had done to make the Stormbreaker or whatever.
Yeah, to open the
that
iris.
was really fun.
Yeah. Oh, that was so
And
great.
his entrance to Wakanda was really good.
Oh, it was so cool. Yeah, it was just he came in and from there it's like, you know,
just tore everyone up.
So great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they were struggling so much, and like to see Thor just destroy all of them. Oh, what a great feeling.
Oh, it's great. It's so great. And like, oh, you know, I am Groot and I am Steve Rogers. That's very funny. I think that sort of highlights how much of a dog Steve still is, and I like that.
And the biggest laugh that came from my audience was when Hulkbuster was running, and then he's like, I feel so good, and then he trips over, and that shot, I forgot what's the name. That shot of hang on, let me check.
The Nigurira
I forgot her name.
like giving him a judgmental
Okoye,
face. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god, it's so funny. I love it so much. It's such a great cut too.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's destined to be a GIF forever. Or a GIF if you're one of those people.
It's a GIF.
Yeah, it's a GIF. So many people hate us now, whoever listens to this.
Yeah, so you want to talk about the Guardians next?
Yeah, so my favorite joke in the whole movie is the title card space.
Oh.
I thought
I didn't know that was a joke.
I thought that was so funny because like you don't need the title card to say space.
Yeah.
But the title card says space. And like I really liked how we introduced the Guardians, which is they're all kind of backlit, and the camera goes in from behind Peter Quill's head, swings in front, and sort of goes and meets everybody.
Yeah.
And that's one shot. And that reminded me of the opening of the movie Serenity, which was a little bit more complex in that the camera went through the whole ship and each of the characters were in different rooms in the ship. And then it ended in the cockpit. So I think that was maybe inspired by that. And it was great to sort of catch us up on everyone. And yeah, like what I was saying earlier.
Oh, I knew them.
Yeah.
It's like when you see them, you're like, oh, the Guardians.
Friends, my friends. That's how you feel.
Yeah, my friends.
Yeah.
Make us feel happy.
Yeah, because like you've just seen a lot of horrible things happen and you're like, oh, you know, nothing bad can happen with these guys. Yeah.
And then half of them not half, more than half of them were gone.
Yeah.
Only one was left.
Nebula and Rocket remain.
I don't consider
don't count Nebula as a Guardian. Okay. Yeah. No, the Nebula torture scene was great. Was like the parallax of moving the camera around to see that bits of her have been pulled off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's okay. There's so many cool images in this movie. There's so many like 10 out of 10 tingle down your spine, just visual moments in this film.
Well, let me think of what my favorite one is. I have a lot.
Yeah.
Oof. But anyway, oh, you know what shot I really love? I love the shot when the young Gamora scene as well.
Mm-hmm.
When he's there trying to talk her into coming with him.
Yeah.
And then once she's looking at the knife, they murder everyone.
Yes.
That was too much, but that was really good.
Oh, it was so great. It was so great. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my favorite shot, I think, of the entire film.
That is a very good shot.
Guardians, I
like him sort of like gently turning her head back.
Yeah.
Oh, so great. Yeah.
Okay, so I like the part where, well, not okay. This part I'm quite confused by. So they went into the collector's room.
Yeah.
And Zoe Saldana's like, "Oh, you have to kill me, Peter. You promised." And then he shoots her, and bubbles come out.
Yes.
And then I think she smirks or something, right? And I thought that was kind of weird
Because
she also didn't know that she wasn't gonna die.
that wasn't Gamora.
No, that wasn't.
That
Gamora.
was a reality stone construct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then how did Thanos know that Gamora wanted him to murder her?
Yeah, I don't know how much of it is a reality stone construct and how much of it is Gamora. Like, I don't know whether there's a switch halfway through.
Yeah, so that part really confused
Yes,
me.
it is very
but
confusing.
I don't like that Peter and Gamora got together, because I think the reason why Gamora didn't get together with him in the first place is because he is a little too immature. He's a little bit too much of a frat boy.
Yeah,
and he still hasn't learned that, he's not your girl. Like, she's not your girl. She's a human being.
Yes,
yes. Yeah, and I didn't like that a lot.
So yeah,
But,
I do agree with you, because I thought that a lot of the emotional weight of this movie was predicated upon the relationship between Peter Quill and Gamora. And
the thing is, I'm okay. Okay, I get that if she thinks that this is the last leg, she'll just kiss someone that she may have feelings for. Oh, hang on, but if that's the reality stone, then she may not be the one that said "I love you." So I guess that's fine.
Isn't that interesting? I never thought of that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I am very...
It's weird.
It's weird. I'm very confused. Yeah, like how much of it was a real Gamora, how much of it was a real Thanos? Because obviously when she stabs Thanos with the dagger, it's not him.
Yeah.
And then at some point, it's not her. But I don't know at what point that is. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so confusing. No, it's...
Oh, by the way, I was so scared when I thought Drax and the Mantis were gone.
Yes!
Well, but they were fine after that.
Yeah,
so
so
thank God.
what's interesting is that this is a thing that Thanos did in the Infinity Gauntlet comic as well. But and exactly the same format. Like one guy went into cubes, and then Nebula went into ribbons. And then they came back together.
Yeah.
I think it was Star Fox and Nebula. So they took like a lot of visual ideas from Infinity Gauntlet, but they changed the characters around a bit. For example, in the beginning of Infinity Gauntlet, it is Silver Surfer who crashes through the roof of the Sanctum Sanctorum to warn Doctor Strange and says Thanos is coming. But in this movie, they give that role to Hulk. So I thought that was very clever.
Yeah. So let's talk about Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange's group.
Yes. Clever people team.
Clever people team. Spider-Man is adorable as usual.
Oh, it was so cute when he got knighted. It's so cute. And then he was like, oh, he took it so seriously. And he straightened up. Oh, it was so cute.
And I do you like the Iron Man and Doctor Strange dynamic?
Yeah, I think that it's interesting because when Doctor Strange came out, everyone said this is just Iron Man with magic. So I like the idea of having both of them confront each other and having their personalities clash against each other. And I think that they both have a degree of cockiness, but Doctor Strange's cockiness is more toned down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do like the dynamic. I think that that's probably the closest we get to a very Whedon-y quip battle. And I like that most of them...
I'll be honest...
Sorry?
Yeah, and sorry, continue.
I like that most of the movie wasn't that. It wasn't people quipping at each other, because we've already seen that in a lot of the previous MCU movies.
Yeah.
So there are still jokes and one-liners, but that is not an integral part to the relationships between the characters is them joking at each other.
Yeah. I don't remember much about their relationship, to be honest, but I hear a lot of people bringing that up. So I wanted to know your take on it.
Yeah, it's like
because apparently they're important.
They kind of hated each other, and then they got along, and they're like, the fate of the universe depends on us getting along.
Yeah. So Spider-Man was great. He wasn't in it that much, but I like the part where he was saving the Guardians. That's my boy.
Yes,
the part where the moon fell down.
When when the legs on the Iron Spider suit formed the roll cage after he caught Mantis, that was very cool.
I was spoiled with the spider suit because I didn't know it was going to be in a movie, but then I live near Nex. So Nex has this Marvel exhibition right now, and they have Hot Toys collection, and they showed us Iron Spider with his claws
With the
out.
legs,
Sorry,
yeah.
not claws.
A lot of toys have
with his
spoiled.
legs.
A lot of toys have spoiled the legs. Like,
So I was kind of pissed off,
the
but
Lego
okay.
has
And I
spoiled
didn't
the
know.
legs. Yeah, a lot of it has.
Yeah, and I didn't. I think Hulkbuster was in it as well,
Yeah.
and I didn't know about that. I saw that.
In the Lego set, it is Mark Ruffalo inside Hulkbuster. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so I didn't know that.
No, it was really funny because like there was a journalist who asked like not a great question, and then everyone said she spoiled the movie. She didn't spoil the movie at all. The toys have spoiled the movie much more.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the thing for me is I don't love Spider-Man wearing the Iron Spider suit because I don't think he needs it. But I like the excuse they gave in this movie that it's a space suit. I thought that was very clever.
Yeah, Lucas doesn't like it though.
Yeah, because
he doesn't like the suit.
I don't
because it doesn't look like Iron Man. It looks more like Spider-Man.
I don't want it to be his default suit. And I want it to look more like Spider-Man. Like, if you look up the Iron Spider suit in the comics, it's kind of solid red with a spider logo in gold. And, the suit that he wears in this movie kind of fits the feel of the MCU more. But I don't really like Spider-Man having too many enhancements because he is already superpowered. And I like how one of the themes of Homecoming was him almost fighting with the suit. And that the suit hindered him almost more than it helped him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens when he comes back in Spider-Flake's Homecoming.
If it makes you feel any better, I think that suit is gone together with him.
He's naked in the soul world. It's like, Mr. Stark,
alright.
Mr. Stark, I've got no underwear.
Can I just say, him saying Mr. Stark is the most adorable thing in the world.
Yeah, and it's so cruel to make that, like, Mr. Stark, I don't want to go. Oh, so
and it's like, who are you? And he's like, Doctor Strange. Oh, we're using our pretend names. I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh, we're using our names. So cute. Yeah. And it's great that both Cumberbatch and Tom Holland are British playing American.
British?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Tom Holland's American accent is better than Benedict Cumberbatch's.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I think Benedict Cumberbatch improved a lot.
Yes, he worked on it. Oh, it's so great. No, everybody in this movie. Like, one of the things I was very impressed with coming out of this movie is that there's hardcore, serious acting. People are acting in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, Josh Brolin is acting, Chris Hemsworth is acting, Paul Bettany is acting. You know, we're all acting. and I thought that this is a movie where it would be 90% spectacle carrying it. But they were smart about it. They were smart about giving characters moments and giving actors moments.
I agree.
Yep.
So, okay, let's end this off with how do you think they're gonna come back?
Ooh, fun speculation. Okay. So we talked about Soul World a little earlier on, and the idea that everyone is trapped in Soul World in like a pocket dimension. And I mean, in the comics, like Adam Warlock is kind of important, but he probably won't be important until Guardians 3.
I think they'll probably use Captain Marvel.
Yes, I have a feeling. Yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting. I think whatever Captain Marvel does to help bring everyone back will be hinted at in the Captain Marvel movie. Like, we will see that device or whatever that is.
It's a beeper.
her magic pager. She uses her pager to bring everyone back to life. No, it was so great because, like my dad said, I thought that meant Canada. And it's so great to sort of picture Captain Canada coming and go, sorry about that.
And Robin is in this, so that's great.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, now Robin's gone.
No, don't kill Maria. No, it was so great because okay, when the movie ended and we got directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, I started laughing out loud. I was cackling. I was like, oh, that's so good, because I was just I was just very, very thrilled that they did that. So it came out.
They were sorry, when did they say directed by? So it was right at the end of the credits. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, because they knew that everyone's gonna stay.
No. As in, sorry, they said that is at the beginning of the end credits. So when that happened, okay. I started laughing, and I think everyone looked at me weird, why are you laughing when everyone died?
Oh,
and I think it was.
But why didn't you laugh?
I laughed because I was kind of thrilled that that's what they did, and I was kind of out of admiration. I think that is the most badass mic drop I've ever seen, ending the movie like that.
Yeah, I love that the movie ended with no music, just quiet. Everyone's leaving.
And
so sad.
And there were no main on end title animations. Yeah. So Swarovski had a very easy job for this one. And then when they had...
By the way, do you think people are ever going to complain that the Avengers theme is not memorable and that you can't hum it?
I can hum the Avengers theme.
I can hum it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that... Good job, Marvel.
Hum the Avengers theme, Gerry.
Well, that's not humming.
Yeah!
And now I'm gonna hum the Lord of the Rings theme. Do-do, do-do-do.
Oh, okay. How much? No, Alan Silvestri did a lot of very cool stuff in this movie. I thought the opening was great. It was very operatic. When Thanos killed everyone on the refugee ship in Asgard, I thought that was fun. I should rephrase that. I thought that was fun. And also, okay, to the very last scene where Thanos is in his resort, sort of going out to go sit down, there's some beautiful double bass pizzicato. That is so great. I don't know why that works so well. But it is
it's creepy.
Yeah, it is. And it's almost...
it's serene, but it's creepy.
Yes, it is almost too relaxed. It is... You don't want the bad guy to be so relaxed. And that was great. That to end the movie with all the good guys in complete anguish and the bad guy yeah. That was so great. I cannot say enough good things about how the movie ended.
Yeah, me too.
Sort of...
Except... Okay... the only thing that will destroy this ending or how it feels is that's my cat. Sorry.
My cat.
Is if the second film sort of brings everyone back to life, including Loki and Idris Elba, and everything that happened here was retconned.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that I'm worried about.
So am
for this ending.
Yeah, I feel because it's the whole thing is who is in Soul World, who gets to come back. And if I'm not wrong in the comics, it is selective. It is not everybody. So it could be that some of the people who flaked away did die permanently, but some of them did not. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of interesting. It's this sort of team alive, team dead thing. And what made me really angry was after everything, Rhodey is still around. God damn it, Rhodey, we don't need you.
Oh, don't do that.
Freaking Rhodey. No, because, it was, they teased that they were going to kill Rhodey in Civil War, and then they did not. So it's now they'll kill Rhodey. And then Rhodey's still there. Oh, so great. Is Hulk still around at the end?
Yeah, he
Hulk's
is.
Still around. Okay, that's good.
The biggest gaps in my theater was when Black Panther faded away. Because I think everyone was thinking, what? But he just got the biggest movie of the MCU.
Imagine T'Challa going, Disney, wait a minute. I just made $1 billion. This is a very poor business decision. If you kill me, I cannot star in Black Panther 2.
When do you think Final Cut was made? Before or after Black Panther made $1 billion?
No, okay, because they showed they showed all the first time they showed a trailer was at Comic-Con in 2017. And that trailer began with Thor landing on the Guardians' ship windshield. So that means they already knew the ending for Ragnarok at that point. So, I don't know how much they knew about that's a good question, whether or not this was picture locked before or after. I think this was picture locked before Black Panther made all the money.
Yeah,
but
I think so too.
But even then...
But then again, we have heard, the editing is always last minute.
Yeah.
Like, a few weeks before it comes into theaters. So I'm not sure too.
And
because if they did kill T'Challa, then what kind of business decision is that?
I think that they shot death scenes for everyone to confuse everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole thing is, this plays with audience expectations, because the audience knows there's going to be Spider-Man Homecoming 2. The audience knows there's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And the audience knows there's going to be Black Panther 2. So this means that they're definitely coming back, but in what capacity? So this sort of sets everyone on a fever pitch of speculation for the next 1 year. So that is another very, very smart thing this is doing, right?
Yep. Okay, so how they're going to come back? I think how they're going to come back is... I have no idea, because I don't really understand how the reality stone thing works. So I'm assuming they're gonna reverse back time. But that'll be too much of a cheat.
Yeah, I hope it isn't just time
and I don't
travel.
and I don't know the extent of Captain Marvel's powers as well.
That's right, yeah. So I feel like a lot of this rests on what Doctor Strange knows. Because he went forward in time and he went and saw the one scenario. And the one scenario in which they beat Thanos requires everyone to have disintegrated at the end. So what is the one scenario? We need Doctor Strange to tell us, but he's disintegrated too. So I think Doctor Strange will be very important.
Mm-hmm. So they'll find Doctor Strange first.
Probably, I hope so.
I think he's alive.
Yeah, and they're also...
And I think Benjamin Wong will probably help them out.
Oh, Benedict Wong.
Sorry.
I want a Wong spin-off movie so bad. I already have the tagline in mind. The tagline is the right place, the right time, the Wong man.
Okay.
This is just a Wong movie. And the other thing is okay, so there are mysterious set photos of Avengers 4. And they are mysterious because the set photos look like Avengers 1. It looks like the Battle of New York. But Ant-Man is there. So everyone is like, what does this mean? Does this mean they travel back in time? Is this like a virtual reality thing? What's going on? So we don't know. But at some point in Avengers 4, they are going to go back to Avengers 1. But it may not technically be time travel.
I just hope they don't retcon all the emotional stakes here. I'm fine if they bring back most of the characters.
Yes.
Obviously they have to, because half of them are gone. But
yeah, keep Loki dead. Keep Heimdall dead.
Keep Vision dead.
I love Vision. Keep Gamora dead until Guardians 3. Bring her back in Guardians 3. Yeah. And, they need to bring back Bucky and Falcon because both of them either one of them is going to be Captain America after Chris Evans
Those
quits.
two, I know they're going to come back. No doubt about it.
Yes, and I want Baby Groot to come back. I was so sad when Rocket looked at Teen Groot and I was like, no Teen Groot.
Okay, so that's it for the Avengers Infinity War. Hopefully Thor had mercy on us and editing this wouldn't be that much of a hassle, because I had a few thunders.
Oh my god, yeah. And I had quite a lot of thunderstrikes. Yeah, I'm over here wherever I am in the west, in the central west.
I'm in the east. Okay, but
yeah, I'm gonna eat too.
No, as in I'm in the east, northeast side.
I'm gonna eat. Yeah. It's just
yeah. So I'm hoping I can watch this film again, because this is such an audience experience kind of film. But hopefully the people that I watch it with haven't seen this film, so I can get the natural reaction to it.
You can get fresh reactions. Yeah. And that's I've seen it 3 times. So, like, by the third time, I think I got very restless during the big Wakanda fight.
Yeah.
But it didn't bother me as much the first time.
Yeah, because I think
Because
that this is
by the-
such a... I mean, for the first time viewing, it's such a well-paced film. Because so many things are
It
happening
is.
on the screen, but it's also engaging. Except maybe the big Wakanda fight for you.
And the interesting thing about the first time watching it is by the time you check your watch, you're like, how are they going to
Yeah.
resolve it?
I didn't check my watch.
You're like, it's already
I was-
2 hours.
You know what I thought? I was like, this... I feel like a lot of minutes have gone past, but it feels good. And then during the climax, I'm like, this film just felt like it was one of the shortest 2.5 hours film I have ever seen. You know, it's
Yeah, I
like
totally agree.
it's like watching Lord of the
it
Rings
really
again.
carries from scene to scene.
You're just so engaged in
Yeah, it
everything
carries-
that's on screen.
And that's the interesting thing is, like, I'm sure there are lots of deleted scenes, but it doesn't really feel that way.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like there are chunks missing. But I think there's a lot of Wakanda stuff they didn't use.
Yeah, me too.
Because, like, in the poster they show Shuri wearing battle armor, and she does not.
Oh, by
in
the way,
film.
I think Shuri did she? Ah, crap. That means I think Vision will come back. But do you think she saved some of his data because she was swiping some stuff right before?
Yeah, that's a good question. Is there like a Wakandan Vision? We'll see what happens.
I can't wait, and I can't wait for Ant-Man
This
now.
is what Disney
I can't wait for
wants.
Ant-Man.
Disney wants us to obsess over it and speculate.
It doesn't take much for me to.
I hate give.
It doesn't take much for me to sell my soul to Disney. I've done that since I was like 9 or 10. So I am the sacrifice of their soul stone.
Like every Marvel Legends figure, Black Series, Star Wars that I buy, Disney gets a cut. I'm staring at Hawkeye on my table now. Like, Disney made money off of that.
I'm staring at what I'm doing in my life and I'm like, hell yeah, Disney. I want you. Please take me in one day.
Oh yeah, so I have a theory. I think like Hawkeye might show up in the post credits of Ant-Man.
I hope so. I kind of miss him.
Yeah, and me too. Yeah, I missed him in this movie. I thought they were gonna do something with him.
I like him in Mission Impossible, and the reason why he's not in Mission Impossible is because he had to do Avengers things, and he's not in this film. So I feel really cheated that I'm not gonna get what's his name again? I forgot his name.
William Brandt.
No, the actor.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, I'm really upset that Jeremy Renner isn't going to be in Mission Impossible, and I feel so cheated that he's not in this film.
Yeah, I know. I said the same thing as well. But yeah, we'll see how the new Mission Impossible looks so good.
Mm-hmm. And I like that, what's his name? Henry Cavill embraced his mustache. He was really sad that no one's talking about it anymore. He's like, I miss the memes.
Funny.
So
yeah, it's great. Yeah, okay. I think that probably caps it off. I'll try and cut out as much thunder on my end as I can.
no, it's okay. I'll edit it myself.
Cool.
So
Thank you.
see you guys. I don't know when we're gonna do the next film. What's the next big film? I want to do Love, Simon, but the thing is, there's no way I can make it for any of those timings if it's as bad as this week.
Well, yeah, I hope that there are better timings next week. I think there will be because it comes out May 3rd officially. Like I double checked.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm
I guess
not
they
super
moved it up.
confident.
Thank God. I think they had it on when Avengers came out, and they decided I don't think it's a good
They
idea.
bumped it.
Yeah, so they.
I don't know whether they did yet because at one point it was gonna be released in March, and then they bumped it down to May.
Bumped it up to me.
Because I watched it in March,
Oh, okay.
so that was when they thought they were gonna open it in March. I think.
To me it was always April 26th, so I don't know why I thought
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
that when it wasn't. Or maybe I was just
Maybe
confusing
that
it
was
with the
the projected
Avengers.
date.
Huh?
Maybe that was the projected date. I don't know.
Oh well. It's weird though that they have previews for this film, but I'm glad.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, no one's gonna watch it, but I'm glad they do. Alright, so.
The next big thing is probably Deadpool 2, but I'm away.
Okay.
And then after that, there's Solo.
All right, so let's see what smaller films we can watch or I can watch.
Yeah, we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, true
Okay,
for
bye
that.
bye everyone.
Oh, Isle of Dogs.
Oh yes.
Maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so see you Isle of Dogs whenever that's
All
coming
of
out.
dogs. Whenever, yeah.
Yep. Bye.
Bye bye.